New court documents detailing the strict conditions for Sean Diddy Combs following his prison sentence. The disgraced music mogul will be under a supervised release for 5 years after he gets out from behind bars. The requirements include mandatory participation in a domestic violence program.
He also won't be allowed to contact any of the victims in the case or, quote, encourage anyone else to contact them. This all comes as Diddy is currently serving a 4-year prison sentence at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. NBC News legal analyst Angela Cenedella joins us now. Angela, good to have you here on set. So what else are we learning about the conditions of Sean Combs' release? And is this all pretty par for the course, pretty standard?
Yeah, so look, a lot of these conditions sound pretty harsh, but they're pretty standard. Things, as you mentioned, like no contact with victims, also no contact with other criminals, no access to firearms, also unsupervised, or visits, drop-in visits from probation officers at any time, mandatory employment. So many of these are standard. But what I do think is notable is the addition of required treatment programs. And it's not just one, right? It is domestic violence, but also drug abuse and also mental health. The reason why it's so notable is because we all remember the defense described this as a modern love story. And even though Combs was acquitted of the most egregious charges, it's really a message from the court saying there's really still something that is not right here. There's treatment that is required. There's issues that need to be resolved.
Can you tell us a little bit about his living conditions? Because I know that he's currently in Brooklyn, but he's actually asked to be moved to a federal facility. Why? What would that do to his living conditions?
Okay, so very specifically, he's requesting to be moved to Fort Dix, to a low security prison. So that would very much ameliorate, improve his living conditions from where he is in Brooklyn. So this low security prison is more like a dorm-like setting and also has a specific drug abuse treatment program that he's requesting to be a part of. And sometimes people who go through this program successfully can get time off at the end.
Well, Angela, we also know that Diddy is going to be required to work 30 hours a week upon his release. Do we know if that's like, he can just do whatever he wants? He's the owner, obviously, of a company, CEO, or is this something that the state or the courts are going to mandate?
So this is interesting. It is pretty standard, and the legal language is work conscientiously at suitable employment. So that doesn't mean that the government can tell him what job to do, but it does mean that the probation officer can veto what he chooses. And the real point here is access and rehabilitation and not a lot of free time, requiring structure. So given that his employment is generally self-employment and a lot of free time, it's not clear here how the probation officer will respond to that, what sort of restrictions they will put. But yeah, the probation officer can say this is not okay. Too much free time on your hands.
Angela, how often are these transfer requests approved?
So it's certainly case by case. It's not something that happens all the time, and the court would look at a lot of things, like, for example, what sort of risk does he pose? What sort of risk exists at that center? And really the goal here is whether or not he will be rehabilitated enough in a low security setting or if something more higher security is required.
When are we expecting that decision? Do we know?
It should be pretty soon, given the request was just given.
Okay. All right. Angela Cenedella, thank you as always.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.